to be a standard, who have these precious children. You are not protecting them. You are not protecting them. You are introducing them to the world.
All right, guys, as promised, this is the Ruby Franke TikTok dance saga. So I posted a little bit about this in my Ruby Franke full timeline video. If you have not seen that video yet, please go check it out. I spent a lot of time going through and making a timeline of everything that we know from 8 Passengers days to current time. Now, the TikTok dance saga started on May 12th in 2022, and Ruby posts a total of 4 videos about this. It's basically in regards to a song that one of her children has to dance to at school. So we are going to start with the very first video and go through all of them. And I did speed these videos up, so no, she is not talking that fast. I just did that for time's sake, so this video was not super long. So without further ado, this is the first video titled, Should Schools Be Endorsing TikTok?
Okay, so here's what's going on. Julie is in a PE class over at the middle school, and for PE, this teacher is doing dance. The teacher is going to have all of the students in her class, which includes Julie, do a TikTok dance for the school to like interrupt their lunch, like a surprise dance to everybody. And I said, a TikTok dance? What are the dance moves? And she's like, well, in the real dance, they're kind of naughty, but she said just to do something different there. And I said, what do you mean? She says, well, some of the girls still twerk. I said, okay. What song? So you hear me asking questions. I'm getting curious with her. I said, what songs are in this? And she told me one of the songs, and I looked it up to look up the lyrics. It is straight up hardcore, straight up. And I was reading the lyrics quietly to myself as I was scrolling. I just typed in the name of the song and I said lyrics of. And Julie said, well, the teacher said that because they're only using part of the song that doesn't say all of those bad things, then it's okay.
So by now you're probably asking, what is the song? And the answer to that question would be Low by Flo Rida. You know the one, she got them apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur.
Well, the stanza, there is no good stanza in that song. It's all lustful, it's all suggestive, it's all seductive, it's all perverse. And do you see the problem that you've got a school now that's endorsing a song? And all these girls are doing this Twitter to the song, and they're going to go to the internet to look up the rest of the song. And it's like, well, my teacher says the song's okay. Nowhere in here was the school or the teacher being protective of these children's innocence. No one was trying to look out for what was best for these kids. This teacher is being very selfish because she wants to be hip, up to date, cool, doing TikTok, entertaining the school. She wants to be liked by the teens. These are 12 and 13-year-old girls. She is taking from them. It's very selfish. And so I'm going to be going into the school. And I don't have an appointment. I just found out about this yesterday. So I'll sit in the office until I'm seen. So I went in and talked to the assistant principal. He says, okay, I will meet with the principal. And I said, will you get back with me? Yes, I'll get back with you. Thanks for coming in. Do you want to write my name and phone number down? Oh, yeah, let me get a notebook. Follow me in here, and I'm going to grab a notebook. So we were in a conference room, so then I followed him into his office. And he grabbed a notebook, and he wrote down my name, and then he wrote down my daughter's name. And then under that, he wrote down TikTok. And I said, do you want to write down the name of the song? And he said, oh, yes, that would be helpful. What is the name of the song? So I gave him the name of the song. And then I gave him the name of the artist. And he's like, okay, thank you so much. I said, do you want my phone number? Oh, yeah. I'm like, you have no intention of following through with me, do you?
Absolutely not.
I didn't say that. But the fact that I was hand-holding him, telling him what he needed in order to follow through with me, tells me he was not upset. There was no enmity for what was going on in the school. He thought it was fine. So he wrote my phone number down and shook my hand. Thank you again for meeting with me. I'm so glad you came in. I said, yeah, of course. When will you follow through with me? When can I expect a phone call from you? I'll get to you by late morning. I said by late morning. So that's, I'm assuming before lunch, before noon. Yeah, I'll get back to you before noon. I said, good. I look forward to hearing from you. All right, update. It's late at night now and I am going to hit the sack. I'm going to go to bed. The vice principal never did call me. I do have an appointment to go meet with the principal in 2 days. So stick around for part 2 to find out what the principal is going to say. I have no idea. I hope that she is as shocked and incensed as I am. All right.
Alright, so before we move on to part 2, I want to show you some of the comments that people left under that video. Now, if you want to pause to read some of these, you can, but pretty much all of the comments are in agreement with Ruby. Now, whether or not they deleted negative comments, I'm not really sure. pretty much everyone is in agreement. She hasn't told us what the song is yet. So here someone comments, what song is it? And I'm sure this is Ruby responding. It says, this issue is not about a specific song. This is about not giving schools unprecedented and unchecked power to bring explicit content into the curriculum, and the failure of the school authorities to listen to the parental authority of the children. And before we move on, these are the full lyrics to the song. I'm not going to go through all of them, so if you want to pause to read, you can. So there is some stuff in there that, I wouldn't necessarily want children listening to either, but I hate to break it to Ruby, they've probably learned a lot worse being in school than just the chosen clips from the song. Part 2 was posted May 16th, 2022, titled, Should Schools Be Endorsing TikTok Part 2?
I am so upset. I am so angry. I could scream. So I went in and I had an appointment with the principal, and she had the assistant principal who never responded to me like he said he would. And then I guess there's 2 assistant principals, so there was 3 of us. She invited me in. We sat down, and she said, oh, my head, I'm probably shaking all over the place with this video. Let's see if I can steady you. So she said, what can I help you with today? And I said, I have a concern about the TikTok dances. And she said in the fall semester and in the spring semester, we need to have a performance. A flash mob is a great way to get it in. It's efficient. The kids love it. They have fun with it. And they are able to check off their performance for their grade. I said, my problem is the choice of songs. And she says, well, all the songs were approved by me. The teacher put together a list of songs and she gave them to me and I approved them. And I said, okay, so you approved this song that has all of these lyrics in it. And she says, well, we're not dancing to those lyrics. It's just a portion. And she says, I think it's really great because I actually really like it because Smiths used it in their commercial. It's part of pop culture. It's all over the place. And I said, so your standard, what you allow in your school is pop culture, what the kids really like and what shows up in commercials. That's your standard. Yes, that's what if it's agreeable to the public at large, then it's okay in the school. And I said, that's really disappointing. That is so disappointing because I would hope that the principal where my kids go to school, that the standard would be truth, that the standard would be principles, that the standard would be morality. And she says, well, what's moral for you isn't going to be moral for other parents. You're complaining about this song, but I've got 30 other parents that just think it's wonderful. And I said, it's what's moral according to God. I said, I think if you put those lyrics out and told each parent what that song is, I think 100% of parents would agree that that's immoral. And she goes, well, yes, I agree. It's immoral too, but I'm only using this section. I said, do you hear the compartmentalizing? Do you hear that you're taking this immoral song and you're saying, but I'm going to take this section? And I said, even the section that's there is still seductive and lustful. I said, a 12-year-old, 13-year-old may not realize it, but you and I as women know that that's seductive. And I'm looking at the assistant principal who's a man and he's just got his head down like this. And I'm like, you know what? I can see you're not open to hearing my feedback.
They're open to hearing her feedback. They're just not reacting the way she wants them to, and she's now losing control. So of course she's angry.
And she says, well, if Julie wants to get out of the class, I'm totally fine making adjustments. Whatever would make Julie feel comfortable, I'm open to doing. I will, if she doesn't want to participate, that's fine. And I said, you're missing the whole point of why I'm here. I am not here for anyone's comfort, including my daughter's. I'm not here to make her comfortable. Of course she can move classes, not because you said so, but because I said so. I'm the parent. And I am here to invite you to see you, the principal, who are supposed to be bringing morality and supposed to be a standard, who have these precious children. You are not protecting them. You are not protecting them. You are introducing them to the world. And you're saying it's okay. You're saying that you support this. I didn't cry in there. I was very strong and sour, but now I am crying. And I said, in the end, you're not going to answer to those 30 parents who think this is a good idea. And you're not going to answer to me who is telling you this is wrong. I said, you will answer for what you brought into this school and exposed these children to. And she says, yeah, I will. I'm fine with it. I am 100% fine with what I've chosen. I'm like, that's sick. I said, that's sick. And I looked over at the assistant principal, who's a man, and he's got his head down like this. He won't make eye contact with me. And I look at the woman. She couldn't have been more than 25 years old. She was just a young girl. This young adult. Her face was just full of pain. I felt like she heard what I was saying, but she wasn't in a position to. I don't think she'd ever seen anyone hold her principal accountable. I don't know if anyone's ever gone in and held that principal accountable. She is evil. For her to have a parent come straight at her and tell her how evil this is. And she said, you could go in and, of course not today. And she's talking with a smile on her face like this. Like, you could go in and listen to the class. Of course not today. Today wouldn't work. But you could come in. We could set it up for next week or after spring break. Why don't we do that? Would you like that? And I said, if I went into that classroom, I'd probably be fine with everything I see. The problem is you are not reading between the lines. Those girls are going home and they're looking up the rest of the lyrics to these songs you're hooking them into. They're dancing to the song. They've got it in their head and they want to know the rest of it and they're looking it up. You're okay with them looking up the rest of the lyrics to this song? It's explicit. It's disgusting. You're okay with that. And I said, you're okay with these girls going home and the parents who aren't numb like you are, the parents who are awake, who aren't vying for popularity points with their kids, they're telling their kids, this is a nasty platform. And she goes, oh, I know, I agree. I don't like any social media. And I'm like, then why do you have it? Why not cut it out? You can. And she's like, well, everything's got nasty. And I said, that's not true. There is so much good in dance. There is so much good in music. You don't have to stoop to this pop culture level to entertain your children. You're not interested in teaching them. You're interested in entertaining them. Anyway, I said, you're not seeing that these parents, the ones who are awake, who are telling their kids, you've got to stay away from these platforms, that you've given them ammo to say, well, my principal thinks it's great. My dance teacher thinks it's wonderful. You're superseding your authority to bring this in and to endorse this. And how compartmentalized are you? You're rationalizing. You yourself say you don't like TikTok, and yet you think it's wonderful to teach these kids. You personally know it's immoral, but it's okay for 12-year-old girls. This is disgusting. It's inexcusable. I stood up and I said, I can see we're going in circles. I can see that you're not open to hearing me. I can see that you don't care. And I can see that if I'm going to raise my children with people looking out for them, I will have to do it myself. I cannot count on their teachers. I cannot count on their principal to look out for my kids. Oh, this is so upsetting. I suspected that I would be minimized, but I had no idea how aggressive and mean and evil. And you guys, I don't live in like a real crazy city. I live in like a quaint conservative little city where people think they're safe. Oh, okay. Well, I'm sorry to give you this update, and I'm telling you, if you're not watching out for for your kids, and if your kids are not talking to you, you're missing so much. You're missing it. And in the end, each of us will account to God for how we protected kids. Big companies who say they love kids are not looking out for kids. Principals who say they're looking out for your kids, they're not looking out for your kids. Everyone is just concerned about popularity. They're more concerned about engaging children and catching their attention. They're interested in money. They're interested in contracts. They're not interested in morality. It breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. And then you get a mom who is awake, who's looking, and you put her in a room full of administration who they're all numb, and you're the one awake, and you're the one who's animated. You're the one who's talking. You're the one who's getting big. And so you, as the mom, start to think maybe you're crazy. And I know enough better. I know better now. I know I'm not crazy. And that's why I'm sharing this. Because if you as the parent go in and start standing up for what's being taught in your kids' schools, if you're not solid and if you don't have a support system, you're gonna be framed to look like you're crazy and overbearing. Just be ready for that. And the truth is, everyone has their own agendas now, and kids are not in that agenda. All right. I hope that this community grows and that we will truly, truly love God and truly love morals and truly watch out for our children.
These are some of the comments under that video. If you want to pause to read them, you can. Again, most people are in agreement with Ruby. Now, I wanted to share all these videos because I'm sure at some point the Connexions page is going to come down, and they've actually limited commenting as well. So someone is actively moderating this page. And if you hear my baby in the background, I'm sorry. So now we're going to move on to video 3. This is titled, Should Schools Be Endorsing TikTok? Part 3. This was posted May 19th, 2022.
I want to give you an update. The first video I did explained the issue of what was going on with TikTok being taught in the schools, the dances, the songs, and then making it a requirement that the kids do this dance. And then the second video was me going in to talk to the principal. And I honestly was hoping that by me bringing up a concern, a parent being upset about what was being taught, would bring pause or cause her to think maybe we could change the songs, or maybe we don't need to do TikTok, but we could do something else. And it was met with a lot of defensiveness, and it was really upsetting. And so this is the third video, and I'll give you a bit of an update. So when I was in the meeting with the the principal, I asked her, I said, who approved the list of songs? And she said, I did. And I said, I would like to know what that list of songs is. And she's like, okay, well, I can send them to you. So I got home after that meeting, and I responded, or I sent her an email, and I said, would you please send me the list of songs so that I know what they are. So this dance that the kids were doing was a compilation. It was a collection of several songs where a stanza was taken out of these songs and then put together in this new compilation. And she said, so here's her response to me. She said, oh, there is no list. You'll need to come in and listen to the compilation. You'll just have to hear it yourself. So right there, the principal is being dishonest with me, because in the meeting she said, oh, I approved the list. Well, there was never a list. Why did she agree to send me an email of the list when there wasn't a list? And now she's asking me to come back into the school yet again. So I made another appointment, and I went into the school, sat down with, this time, the principal, the 2 assistants, as well as the dance instructor. And she said, I have the compilation here. So I got out my phone and recorded the compilation so I could take it home and have Siri help me figure out what the list of songs is. So can you see all the hoops the principal is making me go through in order to get what I'm asking for? I'm asking, what songs are being taught to my kid at school? And she's saying, well, you have to come into the school to hear the compilation. And I'm not going to put a list together, even though I told you there was a list. You're going to need to do it yourself. So I'm at home trying to figure out, I found an app that will tell you, like, listen to the song and then break down the songs for you. So of course I'm doing the legwork. And so then I contact the district and I said, I have a concern. Here's what's going on. These songs are being taught to these 12, 13-year-old girls, and they're material, and it's a grooming ground. No one should be able to go to my kid at school and say, here's a song I want you to listen to, and then dance to. My kid can't even go and see Pigs and Horses without a permission slip signed by me. My kid can't even go across the street and take a tour of their local grocery store without me signing a waiver saying, yes, I'm okay with my child doing this. My kid can't even take advanced math without me signing, yes, I'm giving permission for my child to take advanced math. Yet you can show my kid TikTok dances and have them swing their bodies to these songs, and you don't even need to get my permission. Not only that, but then I go into the school and say no, and you're saying, I'm sorry, this isn't gonna work. You'll need to come into the district. So they had me fill out all this paperwork before I can go in. So I got the paperwork filled out, and now I'm finally getting to meet with someone at the district. He sent me an email, said you can meet with me tomorrow at 9. I responded, I said, great, I'll be there at 9. So we'll see how it goes. Okay, so an update. We just got out of the meeting with the district, and I think it went really well. I think it went really well. I thought it would. Yeah, and I feel like he really heard us, and my eyes were open to a few things as well. And I shared with him, I said, my concern is that a whole layer of concerns, but one of them was, you cannot take a song and then split it up and say, well, this part of the song is okay for the kids. I said, what if there was a song that was racist? What if there was a song that had the N-word in it? And then the teacher just said, well, we're going to use the part of the song that doesn't have that. And he started shaking his head. He said, no, that would not be acceptable. That would not be okay. And I said, exactly. And that's what's going on with this sexual material. And he said, okay, I see, you have a point. And he was taking notes. And
yeah, he was very respectful. He was very curious. He was not defensive. He didn't push back. I could tell, though, he was trying to tie everything we were talking about to policy. So he was weighing what we were saying
against
policy, not against principles. And so, I mean, to me, that's a really sad statement. That's a sad evidence of where we are as a society, that we removed ourselves from principles of morality, and instead we've tied our wagons to policy. And the problem with that is policy it changes all the time.
Yeah, it's not consistent. And this is what was eye-opening for me, is this whole scenario came about because of a policy change, and they were completely unaware of the principles behind it. So he said that this happened when there were dance teachers in the district who came to the school and said, if band and choir and orchestra have 7th through 12th, then we think that the fine arts needs to also be in the school 7th through 12th instead of just the 10th just the 10th, 11th, and 12th. And the school district saw the point. They made a really good point, and they said, okay, well, you can have a dance class in the middle schools. So this dance class is brand new. It's a policy change. And then he said, it never occurred to us to think about the music that was going to be played as part of the dance. I'm like, how do you not think of the music?
So they never developed a policy on what the type of dance would be or the music that they would have. And so
they created this this class with zero guidelines on how it's run. And so you've got this teacher in there who's just running however she wants. And then the principal saying, yeah, I endorse that. There is no policy, there are no principles, there are no guidelines that have been written about this class. And my kid's been in it for a whole semester. So that was eye-opening to me, that the schools are allowing classes to be taught where they have no clue what's even being taught in the class. And I said the bulk of this class, the bulk of the meat and potatoes of the content of what is being used to teach the kids is TikTok. And he's like, okay, so tell me what TikTok is. I'm not really familiar with it. I'm like, oh. So Kevin's like, did you ever have any problems with people vandalizing the schools in the name of a challenge? And he's like, oh yeah, we had lots of damage done, lots of money down the drain because of that. And Kevin's like, that was from TikTok. And he's like, oh, it was?
Or the let's bring your school and classmates challenge. Remember that one? He's like, oh yeah, that one caused us a lot of problems. That was TikTok too.
So can you see the inconsistency of the school fighting against these TikTok challenges, but then bringing TikTok as the main source of training in the class? Can you see that? And he's like, oh, I had no idea. So that was eye-opening to me at just how disconnected the teachers and the administrators are in the education of my child. I mean, I knew they were disconnected, but today it just pulled the curtain back on just the amount of disconnect and numbness there is, and it is alarming. You know, it makes sense now why the principal was so adamant and aggressive with me and so mean. She wants to keep that freedom. She doesn't want to be answering to anybody. She just wants to do what she wants to do.
Well, and she got caught.
She got caught.
She got caught because she approved the activity and she had no idea what the songs were. And so she said that she approved the list. There was no list.
Well, and she's such a liar. She told me that everything they were doing in that class was approved curriculum. Well, the district just told me there is no curriculum.
There is no approved.
There is no approved curriculum. So again, that's the second time she lied to me. She never said, well, there is no approved curriculum. We're learning this as we go. Why didn't she tell me that? Why wasn't she honest? Because she doesn't want me going in and having any kind of sway on what the curriculum will be. She likes having it open-ended. She likes having the ability to teach whatever she wants to teach and to say yes to the teachers. She doesn't want to answer to anybody. Clearly she doesn't want to answer to anybody, especially the parents. So I would say this was a very successful day. I'm very glad that the district heard me. What they're going to do about it is still up in the air. I don't know if they're going to do anything about it, but he at least heard what I had to say.
Well, they're going to evaluate their policy to see if it needs to be adjusted. So it's a, you know what, it's an improvement from where we are right now, but it does not address the fundamental problem, which is we're not being led by moral principles anymore.
No.
We're being led by a group of individuals developing policy.
Yep.
And policy is based on whatever is popular or whatever is socially acceptable at the time.
And who becomes the victim in all of that? Your child. It is not for the benefit of your child. It's for whatever is easiest, whatever makes things easy for the teacher, whatever grabs the kid's attention, whatever stimulates the teacher or stimulates the kids. And that's why they went to TikTok. It's very stimulating.
Well, it's lazy teaching.
Lazy teaching.
Because in other words, this teacher's going, my whole curriculum's already made.
You just have to pull up TikTok.
You just have to pull up the videos, and the students are buying in because it's popular and it's fun. And you know, the reality is, it is condoning and pushing and promoting lewdness.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks. I'm so glad that I have this platform to share this with you. I'm all about sharing truth and all about encouraging parents to be empowered. These are your kids. These are your kids, and you ultimately hold the responsibility for what they learn. And it gets really difficult and really sticky when they're in a public school setting. So kudos to you parents who are willing to go out there and know what environment your child is in, and then being willing to say something about it and bring it up. All right. We'll talk soon. Bye-bye.
Here's some of the comments under that video, and our final video was posted May 23rd, 2022, and Kevin goes to the school board meeting.
Thank you, members of the board and fellow parents, for these few minutes. My name is Dr. Kevin Franke. I'm a professor of civil engineering at BYU. I'm a proud father of 6 wonderful children, and I have been a resident of since 2007. I wish it was under better and happier circumstances that I approach you this evening. This past term, my 13-year-old daughter, who's a student at registered for a dance PE class. She was shocked to learn that the entire curriculum for the class was focused on replicating viral dance videos from the social media platform TikTok. The same problematic social media platform that hosts challenges, encourages racism, encourages students to vandalize school property, harm themselves, commit violence at school, and hypersexualize themselves through dance and explicit music. In April, the teacher prepared the class for a flash mob dance that mimicked a viral dance compilation to explicit music. When my wife learned about this, she took it upon herself to approach the administration. She met 3 times with the principal and the assistant principals of the school to express her concerns and demand that the activity be modified or rescinded. The principal was minimizing, smug, defensive, and deflective of the issues raised by my wife, which were that the school was endorsing a graded activity using the questionable platform TikTok and dancing to music without parental notice or consent, thus exposing students to music that celebrates the and sexual meaning of women. The principal lied that she had personally approved a list of songs because we later learned there was no list of songs. She couldn't even tell us the names of the songs when we requested them. The principal also lied by stating that the TikTok flash mob was already part of the approved district curriculum. We learned later from district officials that there was no approved dance curriculum for the middle school from the district. How is it, members of the board, that my child can't attend a field trip to a dairy farm to pet a cow without a signed parental consent and liability waiver, but my 12 and 13-year-old daughters are expected without parental consent or permission to dance to music with lyrics like, quote, "So she was flexible, professional, hold up, wait a minute, do I see what I think whoa, work that pole, I got the bankroll. I must say I prefer the no clothes. I'm into that, I like women exposed. Sorry, but I had to fold her like a poster. She showed her," end quote. It gets worse. As a concerned parent and a concerned citizen, I present this experience to the board with 3 simple requests. 1, please consider new policy that schools in this district will never endorse the use of the platform TikTok for official school activities. 2, please consider new policy that school administrators will notify parents ahead of time of all music to be played as part of dances, performances, assemblies, and other activities. Under no circumstances should any portion of any song containing explicit lyrics be allowed for an activity. And finally, please investigate the manner in which Principal childishly and dishonestly handled the concerns brought to her by my wife. Her judgment in approving such explicit music for this activity and the use of the TikTok platform is extremely concerning and should not be overlooked, minimized, or dismissed. Thank you.
That mom who's perceiving in distortion, she's going into control and she's demanding that her kid be taken out of this classroom of this mean bully. Well, can you ask for your child to be removed out of a class in truth? Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. I've had that experience where I knew what my motive was. I knew where to surrender. I knew that
that's a principle of truth, surrender, by the way.
Oh, shut up,
and I knew what I was going to do depending on what the teacher said. And
she knew what she was responsible for.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. And
They both suck, but Jodi's always interrupting Ruby.
and in that moment, removing my child out of that classroom was the responsible thing to do.
Yeah. Let's give you a list, and this is no means all of the list,
Can't wait. How exhilarating.
of characteristics of distortion and characteristics of truth, or what we call principles of truth. So let's start with distortion first. So because I perceive, and then I feel, and then I act, the acting, if I'm in distortion, remember, distortion means deception. It means I'm not in reality. I'm not able to synthesize everything that's going on and keep it in honest, responsible, and humble. I don't know how to do that. I don't even know that that's a thing. And so if that's where I'm sitting, I will take my action and I will attempt to control. Okay. So control is the behavior that I engage in. And then there's like a bajillion ways to control. Like you could use pretty much anything in a controlling manner, which means a distorted manner, which means a deceptive manner, which means I perceived not in reality.
Which means I'm going to brainwash you.
You see all that? You got to be aware of all that. Now you might want to turn us off, like this is too hard. Click. Don't turn us off.